My son Samuel taught me how to bask in the sun, and he was only 17 months old. My son saved me. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Now, you know what I mean when I say bask in the sun. You go outside, you pull out your arms, you lean back, close your eyes, and feel the sun on your face, that warm energy. Well, actually, there's more to it than that, but I would recommend you try doing that as well. And I'll be honest, I haven't fully learned what it means to bask in the sun. It's a struggle I have daily, and I know the struggle is inside, and it has to do a lot with my past. See, for me, my military career was awesome. It was going really well. I did some really awesome adventures. But there was a lot of strain at home. I was changing. Now, I don't know if I was ever really positive my entire life, but near the end of my military career, I definitely was not. My marriage was very hard. Connecting with my kids and others was impossible. Getting up and going outside, unthinkable. And then another thing happened. During military training, I had a severe injury that caused me to lose most of the ability in my right leg and have back problems. I was no longer deployable. I was going to lose my job. I was going to have to release. The good thing was, though, was with this injury, I was going to be home now. I was going to be home more often for my son Samuel when he was going to be born. Samuel was my fourth child, and things were going to be different. I was going to be present in his life. So I thought. At 6 months, my son was diagnosed with a rare disease called Tay-Sachs. There was no cure. My son was going to die. And at 17 months old, with us beside him, he passed away at Roger Neilson House. 5 days before he passed, I said to myself, I have to change. I have to be better. The love I felt with my son was so immense that I had to give it back some way. But how? What would I do? I had no idea. Whew. It was some pretty tough times. That first year, I didn't change at all. I was a mess. I was fighting with my wife, my kids, myself. I was dealing with my injury. I had to change my life because of it. And I was losing my job. I had no idea what my future was going to be. So like any normal person, I started to pick up books. I started to read, started to find ways that how I can change. And everything I read was, everybody was so amazing. Everything was so together and awesome. Why couldn't I be like that? And I think there's a real context of advice. Like, it's great. Advice is really good. I really love advice. However, a lot of the times we're missing that point of getting to that awesome state. A lot of times it's, do this and you will be great. Yeah, for a guy that actually had PTSD, depression, fighting with his family, himself, a severe injury, losing his job, and lost his son, that was a very far reach. However, one time, I was having enough. I said, screw it. I stood outside. I leaned back, opened my arms, and started to bask in the sun. See, my son would do this all the time with us. We would take him outside. He would lean back. His arms would roll out, and he'd feel the warmth of the sun on his face. And it would give them this energy that was so good that a couple times at Roger Neilson House, we thought, this is it. This is the day my son is going to die. And so we would take him outside, and he would lean back, and he would just bask in the sun. And it would give him this energy, this strength to just carry on just a little longer. It was this energizing, this power of life. Now, I know my son loved me. He loved all of us. And I know that because a couple days before he passed, he gave me a kiss. Now imagine a boy who couldn't see. He lost all his hearing and most of the motor control in his body, gave his father a kiss, and he was only 17 months old. I have a picture of it because of my amazing wife. But what I learned was basking in the sun was Samuel's. It was his. It's what he did to get energy. It's what he did to be with those he loved just a little bit longer. And so as I sat there basking in the sun, I was thinking, how the hell did this work for him? This is not working for me at all. I have no idea. I'm just sitting there. And there was no amazing realization. There was no instant light bulb above my head. Just over time, I started to realize as I sat there in the sun's warmth, as I thought about my son, and I thought about that love that I had for him. And that was my energy. That was my happiness. That's what helped me to care for myself and give back. Now, I'll be honest, it hasn't been something instantly that I've been able to do this right away. I'm not perfect. I'm not expecting to be close or even perfect, just to try. But some of the things that this has taught me is to fight for those things that are important to me, like advice. I get advice all the time now. But now I feel it in my heart to see if it's good for me, if it works for me, because my goodness will echo out if it is good in my heart. For my family, my wife, I decided to fight for my marriage. And I have an amazing wife. My wife took what she learned from my son Samuel and is now becoming a doctor. Now think about this. She was a mechanical engineer in the military, and she's now becoming a doctor to give back to other families like us. I'm so proud of her, and I love her so much, and I tell her this. But to get our marriage back, it took a lot of work, a lot of strength, a lot of compassion. And we're actually doing better now. For my kids, I have 3 amazing kids, and I had to say their names, Brandon, Ryan, and Annabelle. They made sure I had to say their names. I love them so much. I am so proud of them, and I tell them I love them every day. And I try to raise them as best as I can with love, my way, as best as I can. For me, what I do is I try to give back to my community as best as I can. I'm a Rotarian. I do charity events. I volunteer at the local hospice. I try to do what's good for my heart. But most of all is when I'm down. And of course I get down. Everyone does. I try to be compassionate and soft on myself. I don't need to be amazing, perfect. I just need to care for myself a little more to help me get back up. See, for me, basking in the sun wasn't being amazing, perfect, or special, or being this awesome person sharing my love. It was just being me and being compassionate and loving as best as I can. And for a guy who's had a lot of experience with heartbreak, letting himself down and other trauma, it has been really hard. And I still struggle with it. But that's okay. That's okay, because I'm not alone. I have my amazing family I can get help from. I have awesome friends that I lean on. And every once in a while, on one of those nice, beautiful days, I can go outside. I can stand there in the sun and lean back and feel the sun's warmth on my face. As I think about my son and how he taught me to bask in the sun and how he saved my life, and that I know in my heart, he is always there when I try to do good and bask in the sun. Thank you very much.